During this election season, we begin to take a look at some of the candidates and issues facing us this November. In today's Women's Desk, we speak with Krissy Keefer, the Green Party candidate for U.S. Congress. A party known mostly for its environmental concerns, Krissy talks about her broad platform and its role in this year's campaign.
My name is Noelle Hanrahan. This is the Women's Desk, and you're tuned to Newsroom on Access. We're joined in the studio by Krissy Keefer. She's running for Congressional District 8 for Congress. Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
So what motivated you to run for Congress?
Well, I've been an artist and an activist my entire life, and I've been investigating many issues over that course of that time, and just wanted to take all the kind of talent that I have for talking and meeting people and developing ideas and kind of throw them into a different arena. Many people think it's a natural transition because I am an artist, and lots of artists do run because they kind of have the personality to get out there and talk to the voters. So I thought I would give it my best with that, and then I care so deeply about the issues that we're all dealing with right now.
So tell me some of the things that you've developed with Dance Mission Theater as the artistic director, some of the themes that are part of your campaign as well as part of your artistic heritage.
Well, Dance Mission Theater has over 400 children in the children's program, and I'm deeply concerned about global warming, for example, because I really see that my daughter and her friends, they don't really have a future, especially with the enormous amount of information that's just come out in the last I don't know, even in the last week in the papers about the polar ice caps melting, and Congress has done nothing about these issues. They've known about global warming for the last 10 years. They've kind of stifled the information. They haven't done anything to, call for the Kyoto rectification of the Kyoto Agreement or anything. So that's one of the issues. I have a huge African arts dance program. I'm listening to Marie Harrison was very inspiring because I care deeply about the situation of African American people, particularly in the Bayview and all the kind of things that they're up against with crimes and drug problems. And
how would you differentiate the Green Party's agenda with what's really happening in Congress right now? You're running against people who are going to maintain the status quo. Why would the Green Party have a different agenda in that arena? Well,
I think the Green Party, for one, has 10 key values. One of the key values is they're against the death penalty. I mean, they're trying to do things very different. Having a healthy environment is primary in their platform. So they're against the war, for example. The people in Congress are not against the war. We know almost everybody, including Representative Pelosi, voted for the war. So all of those things that the general part of San Francisco are against and sick of being part of their daily activities is primarily the reason that I'm running.
Some of the issues that you represent seem like ideal for your constituency, the constituency that maybe elected Matt Gonzalez, right? The constituency that has shown a strong green tendency. How are you going to reach people when they're used to voting for Pelosi or they're used to voting for the Democratic candidate?
Well, clearly name recognition is probably the biggest thing that I'm dealing with, but I'm out there every day. I'm handing out postcards and talking to voters in the morning and at night and often in the middle of the day. And I've actually gotten pretty good press. I have a strong base in San Francisco because I've been an artist here for 20 years and I've been performing here since 1975. So it's not like I'm just coming out of nowhere. I'm very well known in the arts community and in the activist community. So there's actually a kind of a nice thing about me running because it's not somebody who's never been quote, shaking hands with the voters all these years.
So if you're sitting in Congress, what would you do differently than Pelosi?
Well, first off, I call for the impeachment of George Bush, and I try to rally the other congresspeople who actually are supporting the impeachment of Bush, and Pelosi is not supporting the impeachment of Bush.
What crimes for impeachment?
Well, for one, for lying about the reasons for going into Iraq. There's all the kind of information around the Downing Street memo that needs to have a full hearing, and it needs to be investigated. The crimes, what happened in Katrina for burying FEMA under Homeland Security, that's a criminal act right there, given that they knew that global warming is happening. They know what's going on. They're just turning all of our attention, and at the same time, I think sort of being able to prepare themselves to go in and clean up with the big corporations that rebuild in those areas.
And what are the connections between Pelosi and the big corporations and big money?
Well, she gets a lot of money from corporations, actually. I think that some of her family members actually sit on the board of some of the bigger corporations around the Bay Area. And according to SourceWatch, she herself is worth $25 million. So she comes from money. She comes from big money. She doesn't need the job. So it's kind of like, I can see if she was a mother taking care of her children and she needed the job, her career would be important. But at this point, she doesn't need the job, and she's really holding things back in Washington.
And what are you going to do to reach the voters?
I am going to just do what I've been doing, try to do as much media campaigning as I can. I have lots of volunteers right now, and we're passing out leaflets. I'm out there every single day talking to the voters. We hope to do some television if we raise enough money. And
are you able to debate, Nancy?
No, she will not debate. We've actually called for a debate. I've sent her a letter every day asking for a debate, and she told the Daily News that she would not debate me.
Why? I mean, that seems like a Democratic tradition.
Well, it seems like it is a Democratic tradition, and seems like things have changed so much in San Francisco and the way people are thinking about, the politics of our international politics, that she has a right to defend her positions, even on what happened in the Middle East. Her only position on the bombing of Lebanon was Israel has a right to defend itself. That is not that is a sentiment. That is a sentiment. That is not a foreign policy. And she needs to actually put out those ideas and let the voters respond to them.
Accountability and accessibility for the voters is truly important.
It's paramount at this point, yes.
And so having the ability to interact is not, it's not unpatriotic. It's not having the ability to question. Having a, compliant press corps is not a part of a democracy.
No, it's terrible.
So,
it's really
and I think
back.
When our politicians don't come into the community and debate community issues, it's critically important. They're hiding something.
Well, I know. And also just being out there, I'm putting up posters. I've got posters all over town and postcards, and everybody's going, I'm going to vote for you just because I met you, because they say, because I know Nancy Pelosi is not going to be walking the streets. Yeah.
And if you were in Congress, what would you do about your career?
As an artist, I would take as many years off as that I needed to. They probably wouldn't let me stay there for very long, whoever they are. And, I've been doing it for 30 years. I could use a break.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Krissy Keefer, a candidate for District 8 and Congress, and turn out and vote. This is Newsroom on Access San Francisco. I'm Noelle Hanrahan. Independent journalist and Newsroom correspondent Josh Wolf was